of legal interest on behalf of the protect. And that still stands. Bill?
For many years, I've been trying to get the invite into MNR, Canadian Wildlife Service, Fisheries and Oceans, invited to our council table. And the councils would always say, yes, we will invite them. It's never happened. I think it's time this council did it. Invite them here. Let them know what our rights really are. This is ours, right from Goderich to Port Stanley. And that's what I told the officer, that, you know, my daughter done nothing wrong. But they came here about 5-6 years ago, and Dean Jacobs called the meeting, and the MNR, Canadian Wildlife Service, and Fisheries and Oceans were all here. And we went up to the council table, and I was sitting up there, and Dean says, Bill, he says, you on this meeting, would you like to chair this meeting? Wow, I says, yes. So I went and sat in the chief's chair, and my grandson Braden was here, and he was quite young, and he came and sat on my lap, and that was perfect. I said, this is just perfect. It couldn't have happened any better than this. I said, you and I have been enemies all my life. And I says, let's bury the hatchet. You know, we have these rights. And I said, you harass us, you time and again. My son Bill was out on the Lake St. Clair, and he called me up. We fished in these big steel boats, and the MNR rammed his boat. And I thought about suing them. I really wanted to, but I wanted us to work together. It's never going to happen. They have no interest. They think they own all this land, the waters, the fish, the wildlife. That's ours. And we can protect it ourselves. It's time we did that. I've been asking council after council. And let's get them here. Tell them. Our leadership, tell them, you don't have any rights here. I gave Charles a paper. The MNR has no jurisdiction here. They never did. Those courts have no jurisdiction here. We have to make our own laws and abide by our own laws, our hunting and our fishing, which we will. And that's all I ever did in all my life. It's a great life. And we can't take our fish to market. Braden, a couple of years ago, Dan says, we came to council trying to get this fishing license. And I spoke, and Dan says, would the little guy like to speak? And Braden said, me? I said, yeah, you want to say something to the council? He said, yeah. And he said, how come my grandfather and my uncles can't take their fish to the factory? He meant the fishing, but he didn't know. But how come they can't take their fish to the factory and sell them? You know, and I think Neve was here at the time. I think in that council, but that he knows that's our right. I teach him. I tell him that all my children, my grandchildren, that this is ours. We have to protect it for them. You know, and that's our right, like Cody said. We're harassed time and again. They drag us to court. They drop the charges the day before court. It's just harassment after harassment. Those people don't belong here. I was living on the Shimatagan. We're going to lunch. There was Billy, Scoob, me and Brent was in my truck. We're going almost to the camp, and he said, Dad, that guy's got a badge on him. So I turned around. I told Billy, turn around. Him and Scoob turned around. Canadian Wildlife Service was in front of by Earl's Docks. And I said, who are you? He said, I'm the head of the Canadian Wildlife Service. I said, what are you doing here? He said, well, I come here to make sure you guys aren't violating. I said, we're not violating. I said, you're in violation. I said, get that gun out of your, put that gun back in you don't belong here with no gun. And he says, well, he said, I don't have to do that. And Lyle was the chief of police at the time. And he said, well, I was invited here. Well, let's go over there. So I went over there, and we got to the police station, and Lyle met us, and he says, this guy don't have no right having a gun here. And Lyle agreed. And then we went to council. And the council said, no, you do not. They tried to shut all our hunting down one time, Ramsar. I forget what year it was. It was a long time ago. But they almost did it. They don't want us to live, to survive. We can't. We just want to make a good living. there were 150 guides here one time. It was unbelievable, our duck hunting. But they do everything they can to suppress us. But let's get them at this table. Tell them who we are and where we stand. This is ours. This is our community. And this is our territory. Thank you very much.
I totally agree with you, Bill, that we have to take charge of our territory and start turning tables around. If somebody wants to hunt and fish in our territory, then they should come to us for a license. For that purpose. Marshall.
I think it sounds like this has been years and years of being harassed by this industry. So I think it's time we went to the top, the ministry, because obviously these people don't get proper training. They don't understand First Nations. They're in Canada. That should be number one in any industry or in any government. The understanding of First Nations people, the treaty rights, our culture, everything. We are the first peoples of this land. I was at Lowe's, this says a little bit, the other day, trying to get materials for renovation. And those people don't understand First Nations. They don't understand our taxation system, or that we're not taxable. And they're trying to talk down to me and say, oh, no, you don't talk down to me. You need to understand we don't pay taxes. When this is delivered to Waffle Island, we do not pay taxes. And they're trying to say, well, you can claim it back to your income taxes. No, not going to happen. So it's across the board. It's just not one ministry. So we're a sovereign nation. We need to go to the minister of natural resources and say, you need to train your staff to First Nations and the treaty rights. And we also, the other part that Bill says, we have to make our own laws. Our hunting, we need bylaws. That's key to all of this. We talk about it year after year after year, and we really need to do something about it so that people like Alyssa and all these hunters or whatever aren't being harassed by these ministries. So, congrats.
Yep. And we're going to try and cover that off in our upcoming workshops the next 2 days. We're going to have a big discussion on this in terms of the direction this chief and council is going in terms of jurisdiction, sovereignty, and our pathway to self-government. We're going to have some very in-depth discussions on that. And you're absolutely correct. The chief should never meet with a bureaucrat. He should meet with his counterpart, whether it's the premier or the minister responsible for M&R. And it should be done on that basis. Protocol as you mentioned, not with bureaucrats or officers or anything like that. And, we should follow up and have some type of meeting arranged, I guess, with the minister to clearly put forward our statement and our position, I guess, with respect to our lands and how it's going to be governed and how we're going to exercise our rights, our specific rights within our territory. They have to be respected. And this would lead to the removal of the existing overlap jurisdictions, whether it's with the province or with the feds. Clearly, our jurisdiction has to shine in terms of enforcement and respect on outside jurisdictions and outside people as well. And we will touch on that in the next couple of days, early tomorrow. If there's nothing further, I would like to thank Alyssa and her proposal and her update, I guess, with M&R there. And I can assure you that if anything comes, I guess, in terms of further harassment, don't, I guess, say anything. Wait for the provision of legal support from the First Nation to safeguard your interests. Eva.
Just thinking, if this is happening to homeless lot, if this is happening to other members of our membership, and should we publish something where people can call and know that we will support them? maybe both me and work officer and the building staff are saying things and.
That's right. That is an excellent idea, and we should put some type of publication out, or some type of statement, like this, for the community in our membership of this, with respect to interference and intimidation tactics from the Ministry of Natural Resources, or the Canada Wildlife Service, or whatever outside agency it might be, in terms of trying to infringe upon the exercise of our rights as members of this nation. Thank you, Alyssa.
Thank you.
Motion to, the presentation by Alyssa and the updates for the remuneration. Moved by Niall, second by Tyler, all those in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. With that, we'll take a break, break. 10 minutes.
I wanna jump on board with this, like, if you need like assistance, like I'm not the smartest tool in the shed. Yeah, together, we really sing well. Like just like if they want writing, they want to talk about it. I'm pretty good at talking.
I'm on board.
So if you need
Everybody
clarification,
supported.